Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for round 4 of the Almeida Racing League. We're racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 4th round of this championship, and it's certainly going to be throwing up quite a few curveballs for the drivers. The drivers that we've spoken to have said they're not particularly looking forward to this track. It's a very challenging one, and it's going to be testing their mettle for sure. But you'll see it all live here on Pit Road Productions with myself, Reese Gardner, and Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box, as well as producing behind the scenes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is sure to be a fantastic event once again. Zippy really loves Charlotte. It's always throwing up a really awesome event, and I'm looking forward to more of the same tonight.
Oh, absolutely, Reece. Certainly myself. You know what? This is one of the tracks that I almost grew up with in iRacing. I say almost grew up because, let's be real, I don't think I quite hit that level of sophistication. But certainly, I've spent a little bit of time here. Certainly, I didn't get out the rookies for a long while. But as much hate as this track almost kind of gets, I've got to be honest, I really enjoy it. I think it adds a good set of challenges. And certainly the bus stop corner, especially with the update now as well, it can be there can be some very interesting lines. Certainly, some of the guys can almost take it as if it was flat. Like, I don't know about this car specifically, but there's a lot of technique to be had, and certainly I think it rewards the brave, and certainly you know, it complements those that really practice technique. You know, if you go and overdrive the car here, I think it will be very quick to punish you for that. But Reece, let's take a quick look at the schedule, see where we've been and where we're going.
Yes, of course. Last week was at Okayama, Winton and Lebanon, the first 2 rounds of the season. We are now at the halfway point of this season. Laguna Seca and Summit Point Raceway are going to round off the season over the next couple of weeks. Good selection of rookie content here on iRacing, with the format for tonight being exactly the same as every week before it. 15 minutes of open qualifying that the drivers have only just started. We have 2 races tonight of 20 minutes. The top 10 from race 1 get inverted for the start of race 2 with a 5-minute warm-up in between. They do get a fast repair over the course of it, as well as a fixed setup, so it all comes down to the driver. They have to apply what they've learned. All of the drivers here are students of the Almeida Racing Academy.
Well, I've got to say, Reece, it's a surprise, by the way. It's going to be an absolute belter of a race. And, you know, it's also as well, we've got almost a special guest today. We've got Brian Lockwood joining us today. Now, he is one of the coaches over at the Almeida Academy, and it is the which is the bit that he runs in that I keep getting confused with the letters, Reece?
The Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. He's a very quick driver, to be sure.
That is exactly that. He's also the gentleman who does the like the cool-down sessions after and does a bit of the incident review as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does today. Certainly Kane Halliburton is back as well. The coach team getting a little bit of a hard time last round, but I'll tell you what, let's try and actually see if we can get some of the laps from these guys, see if we can find somebody who's out and about on the move. And currently, actually, Fernando Afonso is sitting in P1.
Yeah, he certainly is. Fernando driving for Team Purple. Of course, if you are only just coming into this series for the first time as a spectator, the drivers have been divided into teams, and there's an even spread of iRating throughout each colored team. Team Purple, of course, being Fernando Afonso's team. And he's one of the drivers that's been very spectacular in this series. Not afraid to go for those big dives, especially here at that bus stop chicane. Of course, the original configuration of that chicane in sort of pre-2018 was a lot quicker, and there were some complaints about the curbs at those high speeds. So what NASCAR did was they tightened up that chicane, and I actually really like the flow of this circuit. I know I have a video on my own YouTube channel decrying the old Charlotte road course layout, because I did find it very frustrating. But I think with these couple extra corners that this layout has, and a little bit of a different flow in some others, it turns out to be quite a nice racetrack, and I think it suits the BMW M2 very nicely. A lot of corners at this place, and the average speeds are quite low. So you need to make sure that you have the weight on the front tires and get that car rotated, which, as we've seen many times before, is very hard to do in this car.
Well, definitely, as you can see there, that is Leon Bentvelsen, who just kissing the wall a little bit there. But the reason we've got our camera on this car is because at the minute, the chat is honestly the busiest I've ever seen it during a live broadcast. Holy, I can't say that, but you definitely got the idea. There is an absolute flash mob of people in the chat who are cheering on this gentleman, Leon Bentvelsen, who's actually just managed to get himself all the way up to P6. Certainly, the open qualifying format, I do wonder if he can find a draft, if he can maybe slingshot himself into P1, but we're going to use his car as the guided lap for today's lap.
Yeah, indeed, he's already made his way onto the infield, and it's very difficult to get yourself on your way through this infield. You can go all the way beyond those white lines there, but there's not much grip on those concrete runoff areas. Little bit of understeer there for Leon as he comes through the right-hander, and then use the dip, use the camber to make your way through onto the oval. Try and clip that inside barrier as close as you can, and then you are back onto the NASCAR oval. You've got to be flat out through here, build up as much speed as you can, and get your speed up here on the back stretch. Look for those brake markers up in the top right. Brake very late as you can. Monster those curbs through the bus stop chicane. Be careful of that wall on the exit as well. Try and cut as much of that apron as you can as well. This track is all about going beyond what you think are the track limits. It's actually quite liberal when it comes to track limits here, but you can't run too far over the curbs here at the final chicane. Leon, it looks like, is actually not going to show us the line through there. He's decided to abandon that lap.
Well, that was definitely a little bit unfortunate, but we're going to try and find the next driver who can take us over that section. Actually, Matt Larkin, he's Team Blue as well. He's currently in P1 and absolutely having a belter of a day so far. I do believe as well he had a lot of cheering in the crowds last week as well, but we're just about getting ready. He's going there through what I'm going to call the bus stop, and as you said, Reece, certainly you've got to be very, very aggressive, I find, with that corner, and it almost makes no sense that you can cut that section there, but I've got to say, a beautiful bit of tarmac there, certainly for multi-class racing, very beneficial to have that runoff, but perhaps you want to carry on that lap as he's heading to the final chicane.
Indeed. Keep an eye on this final chicane. It's a slightly curved braking zone, easy to lose the car into here, and those sausage curbs, the blue curbs beyond the red and white ones, very aggressive, and you basically just hit the start-finish line as you exit that final chicane into the first turn. Once again, you get no moment to rest around here. It's all about trying to make sure that you don't run too far up the inside of those corners. This car doesn't have very sophisticated suspension, so you need to be careful. And for now, it seems like the 111 of Matt Larkin has this sorted out. This is NASCAR track limit rules. Basically, if it's paved, you can use it, and the track limits in iRacing are set up that way as well. It's not always the best line to take, but you can use quite a bit of the track beyond those lines.
Well, that's definitely my kind of racing, Reece. I've got to say, you know what? As much fun as it is to, have them track limitations, I'm more for if you can make a pass happen, get it done. And certainly here as well, I don't think there's really any advantage to abusing the track limits part, say, as you were saying. And for me, that makes the best kind of racing, because then it's decided purely by outright pace, by outright skill, rather than like a limiting factor perhaps imposed by the marshals. But currently we are on board with Kevin Adrian. Now he's for Team Red. Definitely had the pleasure of racing this gentleman before, usually in an F1600 actually. He's incredibly nimble around there, but currently rocking the M2, certainly a very different machine, ladies and gentlemen. And he is currently in P15. In all honesty, I would expect to see a little bit more pace from this guy, but in fairness, if it was to rain, that would be the absolute pinnacle for this gentleman. Certainly in the rain, he is somebody to reckon with. And speaking of the weather, let's take a quick look at that. You can see there, not too hot right now, ladies and gentlemen, about 22, 25 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to say a moderately comfortable track on that occasion.
Yeah, indeed. Doesn't look like any rain on the forecast for the time being, but the track being 29 degrees Celsius, it's right in the middle of what you'd expect to be a good track temperature on iRacing. The tires will take a little bit to heat up, but once they do heat up, there's plenty of grip available. Well, Follow our way around to the end of the lap here for Kevin Adrian. It's pretty cloudy out there as well, which means there's not much UV hitting the racetrack, and we shouldn't see those temperatures climb too much. Out of the final corner he comes, and a particular lap for him is going to be a 126.8. That gets him one position in qualifying, up to 15th place. Check back in here with Leon as he comes across the start-finish line. He's a bit further down the field than he was last time out at Okayama, where he was likely fighting very well for victory. But currently down in 8th place. He's going to have to try and pull something out here in the last 4 minutes. But I think he's one of many drivers here who's finding this track difficult to deal with.
Oh, definitely. And actually, speaking of wins and stuff like that, we should actually have a look at the standings so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the overall standings. And right now, it's Andrew Moran who's currently leading the top of that food chain with Mahid Rahman in second and Juhas Jashint in third. Now, this is for the overall, ladies and gentlemen. There's several splits going on. I believe we got 4 splits, maybe even 5 splits. I'm pretty sure it's 4, though. So, definitely a lot to play for. Certainly, it's not just the action going on here, but a couple of names you will recognize. Andrew Moran, you'll recognize Fernando Afonso, Adam Mika, Kane Halliburton as well, actually in P9 overall, and he is indeed running again today, albeit with the competition of Brian Lockwood. But that is the overall standings. And Reese, why don't you take us through the team standings very quickly as well?
Well, Oram in the chat saying, go Team Blue. Well, you're certainly right there. Blue team leads the team championship over yellow and orange. And really looking forward to seeing if they can find their way through to another victory here today. But yellow, orange, and green, they all have very good drivers here. Green in particular, looking forward to seeing what the likes of Adam Mika and co can do for green team to try and elevate their way up the standings. They are trailing orange by quite some way, so they're going to need a few miracles in the last few rounds.
Oh, absolutely. And their big contender, Andrew Moran, I've not actually seen him join the session yet, so certainly that's going to be a little bit of a hit there for him. But I do see Adam Meeker's right. She's back in there. Donna, welcome back. Great to have you here. There you go. Let's get some screen time. There you go for Adam Meeker.
There he is.
I've got to admit, we've commentated a lot of series recently, and I've produced a good portion, commentated a good portion. We've been at this for a little while, and I got to say, we are absolutely loving the involvement here from the chat. Thank you guys very much for coming by. Certainly, if you're a little bit unsure, can I share the video link? The answer is yes, and always yes. We definitely want to see as many of you hanging out in the crowds as much as possible, and we don't even charge a ticket fare, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, bring the whole neighborhood down.
Absolutely. It blows me away the amount of family support that the drivers in this series have. You don't often see this level of support in other sim racing series, so awesome stuff to see for sure. We're almost at the end of qualifying, so your favorite drivers are just about to get things going for the first of our 2 races here tonight. It looks like Team Green are helping each other out a little bit. It seems like that's the number 8, I believe, of Michael Dowden that we are focusing on at the moment. Dowden currently in 5th place, which is a really good job for him as he makes his way down the down the back straight, sorry. Always get things a little confused here at Charlotte. There is a start-finish straight, but it's actually probably the shortest straight on this whole circuit.
Well, certainly, and I do think there's maybe a little bit of team tactics there, as Michael Dowden is given a little bit of a tow. He's gone green, then 2 oranges, so certainly no purple sectors as of yet, but I do wonder if maybe he can just fire in one more lap. I believe it's a hard cutoff. I don't think he's going to get to overrun it once more. And yep, he knows that. He's backed out of the lap for now, but certainly a good last effort, as I believe we see Fernando Afonso sneaking around. Yep, there we go. He's parked up as well. Currently resting in P1, so certainly a good day for him. Definitely a position you'd like to be. Is look at that, ladies and gentlemen, a whole pit road full of cars right now.
Yeah, right here on Pit Road Productions, as it were. Well, it's a hard cut to the end of the qualifying session, as this is a heat format server. So it doesn't look like there's going to be much in the way of improvements for anyone here in the last 5 seconds of the session. And in just a couple of moments' time, we are going to flick on over to the first of our 2 20-minute races here tonight. The grid, of course, set by those times in the qualifying session. And who was on top? It was Fernando Afonso. Matt Larkin is going to join him on the front row of the grid. Excellent job there for Matt. Sammy Hendricks starting in third place alongside Andrew Moran, with Michael Dowden and Jan Jančić in fifth and sixth. Abdul Rahman Mahmood is going to share the fourth row with Leon Bentvelsen, with Mike Sargent and Adam Mika rounding out the top 10. Going to be a tough battle there at the end of the top 10 for that final potential provisional pole position in race 2. Aitor Fernandez Blanco in 11th, with David Kent alongside him on the 6th row. Zoltan Zomotor and Ivo Serafimov are going to share row 7. And Kevin Adrian and Ian Witham were the last 3 drivers to set qualifying times. Kane Halliburton and Brian Lockwood are our coaches, and they do a last to first challenge in every race. There is championship points on the line for drivers, depending on how many laps they can defend from the coaches. And Kyle Diaz-Castro is in the server as well. I believe he might be performing race administration duties, if anything. Did not see him take to the track in qualifying with our coaches. But we're just about ready to get going on this sort of half formation lap, Zippy. This is going to be a tough track to start at. They'll be taking the green flag as they're coming through that final chicane, so there's some potential for chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And for me, I think that's absolutely hilarious fun. And yep, definitely Kyle Diaz-Castro, one of the admins here at Almeida Academy, absolutely top guy as well. Very, very switched on fella. Certainly, I could do with learning a few of the things he's probably forgotten at this point, but it does look like the grid has indeed populated. And I'm absolutely loving the sheer vibrance of cars we've got here today. But from an outside point of view, it looks like Team Green very heavily backed up. Team Red, just 2 cars on the grid and 2 coach cars today. So certainly another challenge here for these drivers.
Yes, indeed. Connor Bell in the YouTube chat was the coach who was racing last time out at Okayama along with Kane Halliburton. So I guess it's another opportunity here to place your bets. Which coach do you think is going to finish higher, Kane Halliburton or Brian Lockwood? I've certainly been familiar with Brian Lockwood, and I know how quick he is. Never seen him matched up against Kane Halliburton before, though, so it's going to be a very interesting one indeed. But it's Team Blue and Team Purple on the front row as the safety car prepares to come into the pit lane, and Fernando Afonso will control the start here. Race 1 of round 4 of the Almeida Racing League is getting ready to go. When do they get the green flag? Right now, as they're coming through those final 2 turns. Here's the opportunity, and it looks like Matt Larkin got the better jump off the line. He's got the outside into turn 1. Afonso's going to try and stick it up the inside there to try and keep the lead from him. Behind him, Moran and Hendricks still side by side for third. Keep an eye out for the red car as well of Jan Jančić. He's going to be all over the back of Michael Dowden in the second of our green cars here as they make their way through the infield for the first time. Looks like everyone's gotten off to a clean start though, Zippy. This is exactly what we wanted to see.
That was absolutely fantastic, not just from the drivers, but from my co-host, Mr. Riesgaard. Incredible work. Just, reinforcing the fact of why you're so good at what you do, as that did sound like somebody just got it wrong. I got a little bit of a warning there for Aitor Fernandez Blanco, and one of the very few orange cars has sadly had a collision with the wall. We'll get a little bit of a look at that very shortly, but right now, Fernando Afonso has taken the lead. He's managed to hold it off of Matt Larkin, who's right behind him. Andrew Moran, he's up 1 position all the way up into third, and very much under pressure there from Sammy Hendricks, as Hendricks is there trying to make a move on the inside, and that's Jan Jančić.
Oh, no!
Oh, dear.
Off he goes. Yeah, Jan Jančić unfortunately spinning there in the bus stop. It seemed like he was on the brakes a bit later than he wanted to, but even then, the blue car behind of Leon Bentvelsen was even later on the brakes. This is the view on board from Jančić. He does run almost into the back of the green car, but he really gets turned around by Bentvelsen. There was rear-end contact there. I think Bentvelsen might have overshot the braking zone a little bit. Here's the on-board. You'll watch here on board from Jančić as Bentvelsen gets on the brakes, and that is a big whack.
That's definitely unfortunate for Jan Jančić. He's definitely had some really rough races as of late, and I certainly feel for him on that occasion. But we're going to head back to this lead battle as Fernando Afonso very heavily under attack, and it looks like Andrew Moran looking to try and get in there. But the pack has already separated. The top 5 absolutely pulling away in the field, and you can see here Fernando Afonso is going to have to defend with everything he's got. And then not only that, he is heavily outnumbered. He's the solo purple car up there running with 2 greens and 2 blues. So so much, could almost do with a bit of an allyship at this point as this race continues and starts to get even spicier as we're on lap 2.
Oh man, this is going to be an absolutely chaotic race if what we've seen continues here. The blue cars of Hendricks and Larkin trying to defend there from Michael Dowden, who gives Larkin a bit of a tap there, and that is make that 2 cars that have completely lost the front bumper. Joins Leon Bentvels there, who remains in 6th in spite of the incident on lap 1. Here comes Matt Larkin then. He's actually got quite a bit of pace there. I'm wondering if oh, yeah, it looks like that's Benfelsen.
Yep.
That's actually Benfelsen getting by Larkin there. My apologies. So, all right. There we go, end of lap 2, and we've already had quite a few changes in this field. Meanwhile, looks like one of our coaches, Brian Lockwood, has had a bit of a problem. He's just lost 3 positions as Mike Sargent, one of the only white cars in the field, finds himself potentially looking at a top 5.
Well, certainly I've had the pleasure of racing alongside Mike Sargent before. He's a member of Beaver Block, and certainly he's been around sim racing a long while. It's great to see him not only getting some coaching, but continuing to constantly improve. And you know what, P5, P6 is a very solid result in this field. But certainly I do commend the blue team there, because while Larkin had that little bit of an issue there, he didn't want to hold up Benfelsen. Dowden had that issue there, didn't want to hold up Benfelsen. So did the smart thing and just, let him go by. There was no point fighting the guy. But as we look through, there is battles happening throughout the field. Looks like Ian Witham, he's in the blue car, you can see there, currently under attack from Zoltan Zamota, who's in the yellow car behind. Oh, indeed. My bad, wrong way round.
Oh, no. Indeed, that's Ian Witham and Matt Larkin together at the moment, coming through the bus stop, and Larkin very aggressive over that first bus stop curve. You saw how the car got unsettled there. BMW M2 does not like those very bumpy curbs, but you have to use them to be fast around here.
Well, I am getting a warning for another crash, but let's take a quick look to see exactly what happened to the coach of Brian Lockwood.
Indeed, replay as we see Lockwood come into the final couple of corners here. That's Halliburton up in front of him, and oh no, it's a mistake there from Lockwood, or was that a tap from the yellow car behind? Unsure exactly what went down there. Ian Witham, I believe, the car there behind him. And, oh no, that was just legitimately a mistake from Brian Lockwood, which we don't usually see.
Well, I gotta say, I know the guy can drive, but with any professional sort of level of sim racer or indeed racing driver, there's certainly an element of risk versus reward, and these coaches are definitely, they're not holding back. They're looking to really make up some positions, which is exactly what this gentleman's doing. Kane Halliburton, he is currently the hard charger in the field, up 8 positions, having a fantastic race so far, but we're going to return to the lead pack right now because Andrew Moran, he's currently getting a little bit of an attack there from Sammy Hendricks. It's green versus blue, and Hendricks is stuck it up on the inside. Fantastic pass, but can he carry the speed on corner exit? I think while it was an absolutely incredible move, certainly an opportunistic scenario, I do believe that come this next chicane, Moran's going to be in a position to potentially attack back and get that position back to where he wants it to be.
Yes, it's hard to make passes into these final couple of turns, though. They're faster than they look, and they may seem wide. There's actually not much room to run side by side. So it looks like Andrew Moran deciding discretion is the better part of valor and is going to try again at a different point on the circuit. I have to say, though, Sammy Hendricks has been nothing short of incredible on the brakes in this race so far. Definitely knows how to work the ABS that this BMW M2 CS racing car has. Well, they're going to settle down for a while, but here's Michael Dowden and Leon Benfelsen. The no front bumper brigade have found themselves in 4th and 5th, so could still be on for a really good result here today.
Well, certainly they're going to be trying. You can see Mike Sargent is hot in pursuit with Abdul Mahmoud hot in his tails as well. Kane Halliburton, he's managed to change it up to 9 positions, ladies and gentlemen, but I can hear there's a battle happening further back, and it's between the red car of Kevin Adrian and the blue of Matt Larkin. Now, are we going to see another move as they head down to what I'm affectionately going to call the bus stop? Certainly Larkin, he's going to get a wicked slipstream as they head down, but, it's certainly, you've got to be brave if you want to make a move just here, and we have seen a few of the drivers, while able to get the move done, you got to wonder, is there going to be enough real estate on corner exit? Myself, I don't think I would try and make a pass on the corner entry. I think I would try and carry as much speed, ride the back bumper, and then potentially force a move into this final chicane.
Yeah, well, well, someone's probably going to try and force a move here because Ian Witham had a mammoth run through the chicane. Actually, he's lifted out of that. I saw him threatening to draw alongside Larkin, who was very conservative over those curbs, probably looking for a bit more preservation at this stage of the race. We're still not even at the halfway point. These races are only 20 minutes long. They're incredibly short, but a lot still tends to happen. The field is spread out just a little bit in that section, but here comes Leon Bentvelsen on Michael Dowden. Let's see if Leon will be able to find a way through here. It's all about the exit out of NASCAR 1 and 2. And sometimes, if you can force your rival a little offline through this section, it can make the job all the more easy. Just get on the power as early as you dare. They could potentially cut it a little finer towards the wall, but I'm certainly not a coach at the Almeida Academy. These guys know what they're doing more than I do. And for now, Bentvelsen has to try and catch the slipstream from Michael Dowden here. It is broken by Dowden. It's a very good defense that Michael is putting on at the moment, and they're both super aggressive over those sausage curbs, but a slightly straighter exit from the chicane for Bentvelsen as Sargent and Halliburton are side by side behind.
Well, we did get to watch Sargent and Halliburton go at it a couple of rounds back. I believe it may have been Lebanon. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It might have even been Okayama, but certainly Sargent is not interested in just handing that position over. And there is a bonus for every lap. I think you keep the coach behind you. You do get a point bonus for doing so. And Sargent very much being able to capitalize on that. If anything, he's fought the coaches more than anyone else I've seen here at the Almeida Academy. Certainly positioning that car, using that experience, not just in the sprint race, the 20-minute sprint race, but also in the endurance side as well. And I do have to say, I think they are actually catching up to Leon Bentvelsen and Michael Dowden, because that gap appears to be getting ever so smaller. I'll take a quick look at the lap times in just a second, as it looks like Halliburton's looking to make a move on the inside.
Oh yeah, racing isn't just about passing people, it's about preventing people from passing you as well. And Mike Sargent certainly put up a great fight, but ultimately Kane Halliburton absolutely nailed the exit there on the infield. Now it's up to Sargent here to see if he can stick in the slipstream of Halliburton and maybe put himself a bit further forward to Dowden and Bentvelsen ahead. The gap is showing as less than a second now between these two groups, so I think they will definitely come together as Bentvelsen has another look at Dowden coming into the bus stop.
Well, as we can see here, look at the green and laps 4, 5, and 6, and that is Halliburton catching up in terms of lap time. He's been quicker, 7 tenths, 4 tenths, 9 tenths per second. So that gap is 100% coming down, ladies and gentlemen. And certainly, I think Bentvelsen is soon, while being the crowd favorite here today, he's going to be under attack from the Almeida Academy coach of Kane Halliburton, who's currently up 11 positions. Mike Sargent hot in tow. As you see a little bit of grazing there against the wall as they cross the start-finish line.
Another little look there by Bentvelsen. He's trying to unsettle Michael Dowden here and get into the top 4. He's all over the back of him coming through the infield. And Halliburton is making his presence known with an outside run. It looks like he's trying to late apex it. Slow in, fast out is the golden rule of driving well out on track. And it seems Kane Halliburton is putting that into practice very nicely. They are all together now, a 4-way battle for the 4th place on the finishing order.
Well, certainly there is a lot at stake. Mike Sargent is in there as well. Certainly he'll be into the low-risk, high-reward strategy, I'm sure, but doing fantastically well right now. You can see this is the pack all the way from about 2nd down to 7th, really. It's Fernando Alfonso. He's absolutely ran away at this point. In fact, it looks like, oh, here we go. Halliburton's going to try and make a move as they head into the bus stop.
Bentvelsen's going to give him room through the left-hander, but the right-hander is his on the inside. Can he keep the coach behind him? No, he cannot. It looks like, now Mike Sargent's going to get his way through as well. There's a little piece of track that he can slot himself into, but he's boxed in. He's going to have the outside line into the chicane here, and Bentvelsen will be able to defend from him.
That was absolutely fantastic defense from Bentvelsen. Certainly Sargent, not really much he could do to try and get away with that, but doing everything he can. Halliburton just able to slip through a little bit of a snake in the grass, or at least on the tarmac in this occasion, but certainly a lot there at play as we're going to look at some other battles as well. I guess if we go a little bit further up, don't have to go far. Michael Dowden, the next one on the chopping block for the Kane Halliburton Bumper Express, I guess. Well, actually, no, he's got his bumper today. That's right. We would call him the No Bumper Squad, the Halliburton look or something, weren't we?
Yes, I believe we were. Yeah, from way back at Lebanon, where Halliburton actually did most of the race without a bumper. Speaking of bumpers, he's going to slot one up the inside at the double left and get into 4th place, passing Michael Dowden. Dowden gets compromised, and Benfelsen's going to be bump drafting him through the turns here. This is fantastic racing.
I got to be honest, I don't think the bump draft was intentional. I think it was just that close. Oh, my. I do not see this ending
Sargent!
well.
Oh, Sargent! Oh, no! Mike Sargent trying to stick his nose in there, made contact with Benfelsen, and both of them are going to fall potentially outside the top 5 here. Well, it looks like Benfelsen was able to escape damage, but he did end up having to cut the chicane as a result of that, and so he has a slowdown to serve. That's a real shame. Not how we wanted to see that battle end, but you could see that Benfelsen really could do nothing to avoid that.
Yeah, he got a little bit of help there, I think, going into that final chicane, but when you're 4 cars wide, you know, things are going to happen, but certainly the blue team car is definitely getting a little bit of a beetle today as I start sounding like Mr. Arkwright again, albeit unintentionally. But it looks like Benfelsen maybe slowing a little bit down. Yeah, he's got an issue. He's absolutely plummeting through the field right now. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
You seen the black flag race?
Looking at the entries tab, and he does have a black flag to his name. He didn't clear the slowdown in time. If you're unfamiliar with how iRacing works, if you cut a corner, whether intentionally or not, you get a slowdown penalty, and you only have a limited amount of time to serve that. Obviously, the time that Benfelsen gained, he didn't give up in time, and so the simulator has hit him with a black flag. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. Benfelsen is now outside the top 10, but if he gets back up to speed, then maybe he might be able to salvage some kind of result here. He will have to come into the pits for a penalty, though, as the number 7 of Brian Lockwood runs a little deep at the chicane there.
Well, certainly Connor Bell is enjoying the racing there in the chat, and I'm actually going to give him a hard time and say, why aren't you on the track? Certainly watching you and Kane go hard at it is definitely good entertainment, but there you go, Leon Benfelsen comes down the pits, and I got to believe that is going to be a drive-through penalty, but I believe he may be taking that fast repair as well. Now, if he has indeed got a penalty, stopping in the box is not going to clear that, so certainly, you know, I think this may be a tactical error. He's got to keep that car going. Oh dear, I think he may indeed be going around the pits again. Certainly a potential learning experience for that driver there. I mean, he's nearly 3,000 I rating, so perhaps just parking the car at this point. But we're going to check in with the leaders. Oh my gosh, that was incredibly close cornering there from Fernando Afonso, who I have to admit I've seen running elsewhere in the BMW M2 for the Almeida Academy. I was doing some testing and saw him running in what appeared to be a entirely Brazilian league, and he was very potent in that league as well. So certainly getting a lot of seat time here in the M2.
Yeah, certainly seems this car suits him very well. He has dominated this race so far. Seems to have barely had any troubles out there in the lead. Meanwhile, checking back in with Brian Lockwood, he's got Zoltan Zomotor trying to keep him behind, but up the inside at the chicane he will go, and that's Lockwood up to 12th spot. So currently running second of the coaches, has been for quite some time. Seems that, you know, I mean, this is the first time that I've seen Brian Lockwood racing this season. Maybe didn't quite prepare as much for this round as he would have liked, but, you know, he's a busy man. He's got a lot to do out there. Regardless, still further battles going on here for 6th place. Mike Sargent we're looking at behind Abdul Rahman Mahmood, who we are on board with as things stand. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the race, and that means only around about 4 laps, no, actually 2 laps to go when they cross the line next. So pressure's on.
Well, certainly you can see there is indeed battles going on, and I'm going to try and head back to this one because it looks like Kevin Adrian is going to get caught up in it, this time with Brian Lockwood, but he's not just worried about that. He's got Adam Mika right ahead of him, so certainly it's going to be a freeway fight, ladies and gentlemen, as they're getting very much near the closing stages of this race. Now, no pit stops are required, albeit at times they've had to occur. Some of the drivers getting caught in some incidents or indeed a potential penalty there from Leon Benfelsen, but certainly, you know, you got to weigh up, how hard do you want to push? Because we have heard from the drivers that tire degradation is actually having a bit of an effect if you push too hard throughout the race. Oh my gosh, are they going? I thought they were going to go 3 wide.
It's a bit difficult to tell with the focal length of that camera sometimes. Regardless, it looks like they are going to try and go 2 wide here. Keeping Ivo Serafimov and Matt Larkin behind them here. Sorry, I think that's actually, it's Kevin Adrian that we're taking a look at here at the moment. And that's very deep on the brakes. It looks like he's going to overshoot the final corner. Oh, no, he pulls it up, but he's lost a lot of time. And now Brian Lockwood will try and find a way past him here in the battle for what's turned out to be the last spot in the top 10. Adam Mika currently has provisional pole for race 2.
Well, he's definitely going to want to hold on to that. It's going to be a huge swing for him, and certainly, a good strategy as well if you can maintain that. So he's going to be hoping that these 2 gentlemen, the number 11 car and the number 7 car of Kevin Adrian and Brian Lockwood can keep fighting and certainly duke it out. And as you can see there, Lockwood looking to put a nose up the inside. I don't think there was intention of a move, but more just to fill the mirrors and fill the mind of our Canadian driver who we're currently on board with here. But certainly, all this is enabling Adam Mika to just pull away just a little bit, about 0.6 of a second right now, as I believe Halliburton is currently, Halliburton getting in the mix of it again, this time for P3.
Oh, Andrew Moran is going to keep him behind, though. That the extra championship point thing comes into effect when the coach is 0.3 of a second back from you. So if he manages to hold him off here, Andrew Moran could get an extra championship point from this lap alone, and it looks like he will. This is some great defending that we're seeing here, and Kane Halliburton's job is getting harder and harder as the race goes on. It is white flag, though, and this is his opportunity to get into the top 3. There goes Halliburton up the inside and onto the podium.
Well, that's definitely what he wanted to do, and certainly Fernando Alfonso has had the race that he's really been looking for. As it looks like, Hendricks has all of a sudden come back into play now. Fernando Alfonso did have a huge gap earlier on. I wonder if he's took a scenic route at some point, but now it's going to be a battle to the checkers, but will it be wreck? As you can see there, they're getting ready to head down onto the bank section of the circuit, and Fernando Alfonso is really going to have to hold on. Sammy Hendricks has been absolutely on fire today, but is that fire going to burn the whole place to the ground? They're going to have to keep it clean as they head down on the final lap.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened to Afonso here. I think it might have just been a really good run from Sammy Hendricks. That's the last opportunity that Hendricks is going to have for a clear pass. But if Afonso makes a mistake on the exit of the chicane, Hendricks could have a run at him here. They both get a good exit, but it seems it is with Fernando Afonso. And Hendricks is just too far back for a big move. Well, let's see if Team Blue can get the win, or can Team Purple. Just 2 corners to go as they make their way to the finish line for this race. A great battle on the final lap, but Fernando Afonso is going to come out on top over Sammy Hendricks.
Yeah, definitely a well-deserved win. He certainly led every lap and just dominated from the start. As Kane Halliburton, he's going to get third, up an incredible 14 spots, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to head back. Oh my gosh, a whole train of cars. This is Matt Larkin right now, who Adam Mika right behind him. Mika actually moved all the way up to P8, so somebody must have dropped off at some point there, because he was sitting in P10. Where did everybody go?
Yeah, he certainly was. Yeah, that's that.
I think I found it.
Interesting finish. All right, let's review then, as Abdul Rahman Mahmood had Mike Sargent behind him, and Sargent going for the dive here, but look out for the other green car. Oh dear. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess in a 3-wide situation, Sargent had already committed to the move, and he would have been expecting to go for the apex, but for the other green car coming up on him there. Which green car was that? Was that Adam Mika?
He just got, Sargent was kind of in the middle of that, I think, and Mahmood just, I guess, being on the outside, there's not really a lot he could do with that. He's just victim of, wrong place, wrong time. Certainly, definitely a little bit unlucky there, but they are now heading into a warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get them official results up for you, so just bear with me just 1 second here. Let's have a quick look. But absolutely, we're hearing in the chat, fun race. And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Certainly a few surprises in there, but let's take a look and see where it's all going to matter. So there you go. You can see in the top of the standings there, Fernando Alfonso takes that win, barely holding on about 3-4 tenths per second to Sammy Hendricks, with Kane Halliburton in third. An incredible hard charge from him. Andrew Moran takes fourth, with Michael Dowden in fifth. Ivo Serafimov in sixth, with Matt Larkin in seventh, Adam Mika in eighth, Kevin Adrian in ninth, and then the other Almeida Academy coach here today, Brian Lockwood, in 10th.
Yeah, flip them, and that is your top 10 on the grid for race 2, although Brian Lockwood and Kane Halliburton will be giving themselves penalties at the start of the second race, so they can do the challenge all over again. Zomotor, Sargent, and Mahmoud finishing 11th to 13th. Ian Witham and Aitor Blanco, as well as Jan Janchik, ultimately coming away with results that they probably wouldn't be too happy with. David Kent, Leon Bentvelsen coming home a lap down. It's going to be a mission of redemption for them in race 2, Zippy, but I'm looking forward to it as much as anyone is, especially the chat. Absolutely brilliant to see the outpouring of support for these drivers.
Well, certainly, you know, it's definitely been an incredible event so far. And honestly, I'm really enjoying as well being part of this series. But Reese, we're going to take a quick look here at an advert we've got, ladies and gentlemen. So just bear with us very quickly. We'll be back in about 30 seconds.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute belter. Certainly myself, I'm definitely going to have to start getting into this cool stuff and, you know, actually start driving a bit more at the minute. I'm still very much a casual driver at the minute, not really, you know, committing myself to a league. And honestly, I think that's probably the best way to do it in terms of, you know, if you want to improve, you need to commit to a league. You need to, like, hold yourself accountable and, you know, put the practice in. You know, not only that, if you study the material, you know, we literally, you can look at the results, right? You can see the results and the incredible improvement as well. Like, people are gaining, like, 1,000, 2,000 iRating, which is absolutely insane. You know, like it clearly works, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what? I think it offers a 30-day guarantee as well. So certainly give it a whirl. I mean, what do you got to lose at that scenario as well? But Reese, as we head over back to the cameras, certainly you know it's been a very interesting race. Certainly Leon Bentvelsen heavily cheered on in the chat, but definitely not the race he was looking for. Jan Janchik definitely had a couple of rough races. I'm hoping he can just you know kind of stay out of trouble for a little bit. And you know that incident we watched on the replay, you know. Nothing he could do. You know, he got a little bit of a tap there and he's kind of along for the ride. But, you know, Kane Halliburton, yet again, you know, just showing that experience and that skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Running up from the back of the field to third place, that would be an absolutely stellar run through the field for anyone in any race. But of course, Kane Halliburton, a very skilled driver and one of the coaches at the Almeida Racing Academy. So you can expect him to really fight his way up. And he's been here for every single round so far. But the drivers are going to have to deal with that all over again. There's more championship points on the line if they can keep the coaches behind. And with the inverted top 10, we're going to have Afonso starting from 10th place. We'll have to see how far up the field he can make it because... yeah, I've noticed, you know, this track does produce quite a bit of chaos. It's about avoiding that chaos if you want to get a good result.
Absolutely, and as well, big welcome to Britannia iSports there in the chat. Now, that's definitely somebody we're very familiar with. Mike, great to have you here. Honestly, if you want to come in the booth, call the action, come on in, sir. We'd love to have you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the next one goes as well. Certainly, you know what? It's not failed to deliver. We've not had a single race yet where we've been like, kind of like, all right, you know, let's just get them to the checkers. But there's always a battle going on everywhere. And, you know, it's interesting as well, where this is the top split as well, there is still quite an incredible variety of iRating. So you got Kane Halliburton absolutely rocking it with about 8.2 thousand iRating, which is insane. But on the lower end of the scale, if we ignore one of the admins here, you're looking at about 2,100 iRating, which is still very respectable, but certainly quite a strong strength of field here, quite a variety here. And, you know, it's it's proven to be that, iRating is not necessarily the be-all and end-all, as these guys have just been absolutely incredible throughout the field.
Yeah, indeed. iRating, of course, is based on your race results. And, you can be a super fast driver and just have bad luck or suffer from consistency problems. That's one of the things that the Almeida Racing League or Almeida Racing Academy can help you with, is finding that consistency. Well, going through the grid for race 2, Lockwood and Adrian on the front row. Of course, Lockwood will not start there in pole position. Adam Mika and Matt Larkin taking up the second row of the grid. Looks like Adam Mika will move through to the front row as a result of that. Serafimov, Dowden, Moran, Halliburton, Hendricks, and Afonso rounding out your top 10. Zomotor and Sargent on the 6th row of the grid. Don't forget, pretty much every driver behind Kane Halliburton is going to gain 2 positions as a result of the coaches self-penalizing on the formation lap. Mahmoud will be looking for a bit better luck. Same for Ian Witham, Aitor Blanco, Jan Janchik, David Kent, and Leon Benfelsen as well, starting all the way back from 18th, and that is the last position on the grid, because Kyle Diaz-Castro is our race administrator. He will not be taking it to this grid. So, well, everyone who's a fan of the Dutch driver Leon Benfelsen in the broadcast chat, get fired up, because there's a lot of potential for him to make his way up here.
Well, it looks like what Brian Lockwood and Kane Halliburton are doing are just pulling off to the side, and they're probably going to clear everybody's black flags just to make sure that they don't get nailed by the race marshals there. But certainly, it's good to see that they had the pace, they had the potential, and, letting the students have some fun. Now, I do think Kevin Adrian and Adam Mika being at the front of the grid, I think that is going to work out incredibly well for them. Certainly, they've got to... I see that... Oh, my gosh. If you're looking at the chat race, I'm getting... It's almost an all-out war right now. Come on, Team Blue. Come on, Team Blue. Let's go green. And certainly, you know what? I'm going to cheer for Team Red on this occasion, just because I feel they're maybe a little bit underrepresented, ladies and gentlemen, as Kevin Adrian is there on the pole. He's quite quick. He's quite snappy. And he's got Adam Mika up on his inside.
Oh, not for long, though. That was a great start from Kevin Adrian, and he has the luxury of choosing whatever line he wants coming into the first turn. But look at the sea of green here in the top 10. The one red car, and then green, 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 blue.
Oh, my
green
gosh.
Again. This is a fantastic start, but Serafimov has just spun out of 3rd place, and he's contacted the wall. It looks like we've also seen Jan Janchik go around, so that's a really unfortunate run for 2 very embattled drivers in this league, and it looks like Leon Benfelsen has had some dramas as well from the back of the field.
Oh, we're watching there, Abdul Mahmoud, to see what happened to him. Okay, just
That's
gets turned. There you go. Well, that's how the both of them ended up meeting a rather sticky end with the wall, and Benfelsen has indeed jumped to the pits. So certainly, while being the most cheered on driver here in the chat, definitely not the result he was looking up for. Fernando Afonso currently up 1 spot. We're going to go back to the front, though, as Andrew Moran, he's currently your points leader as they headed into this round, is all the way back up to 3rd place, 4 positions gained. Not the hard charger, but certainly putting in a very good effort. Hard charger right now is actually Ian Witham, who's up 6 positions.
Yeah, good job from Ian there. Mike Sargent's also up 5 places as we keep our eyes peeled on the drivers coming into the final couple of corners here. Dowden trying on the back of Matt Larkin in the background there, and meanwhile, Team Purple, that is our Race 1 winner, Fernando Afonso, who's found himself 1 position up at the start of this race. And meanwhile, the coaches are working their way through here. Halliburton and Lockwood sticking to each other like glue.
Well, certainly I felt very, very bad there for Aitor Fernandez Blanco having 2 gold cars in your mirror. I definitely would not have wanted to play with that. I would have been like, no. But certainly did everything he can. But right now, Kevin Adrian is holding on to the lead. You can see the pressure. No, Mika's just touched the wall. I believe he got a little bit of over-rotation. I'm not going to be able to get a replay of that. I'm certainly going to do my best to, but... Oh my gosh, not what we had in mind. Let's see if I can get something there for us. It's going to be a little bit further back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's a lot further back. Not quite able to get that replay because he didn't actually, he clipped it, but he didn't fully send it enough for me to get a warning for it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Mika. It just looks like he was trailing the brakes into the right-hander and he lost the rear end, ended up hitting the wall, and he's just been turned again. That's Sammy Hendricks that's unfortunately gotten into the back of him coming out of the chicane there. So both Adam Mika and Leon Bentvelsen, two of the most supported drivers here tonight, have had absolute shockers.
Well, on the upside, it is one apiece, and I think it's really turned into a little bit of a grudge match at this point between Teams Green and Team Blue, as Zoltan Zomotor, he's now getting put on that coach train. He's going to tuck behind Blanco, his teammate there, but absolute carnage here today in this final race at Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, well, we'll keep our eyes peeled there on David Kent as he goes around the outside of Zoltan Zomotor at turn 2. That becomes the inside for turn 3. And the position is his for now. Zoltan sliding back just a little bit there and finding his way through. But keep an eye out for Matt Larkin and Sammy Hendricks as a side-by-side between Dowden and Sargent. Dowden in the green car on the inside. Can he get the exit that he needs? Use all of that tarmac there as just behind them, Ian Witham is catching some slipstream here. Those two cars running side-by-side would have slowed each other up a bit through the first sector of the lap, and that's giving every advantage to Ian Witham. Get on the brakes. Make sure you get into the corner cleanly, because then you can nail the exit. And it seems like a bit more speed being carried through there. Too much speed for Mike Sargent.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of the headlight flash. I don't think he was too thrilled about Sutton, but you know what? From this camera angle, I didn't see anything that I would raise a red flag about. But right now, Sargent is going to be under pressure, not just from Ian Whiffen, but from Fernando Alfonso as well. Kane Halliburton just starting to peer into that mix as well. So certainly right now, the big battles are all happening from P6 all the way down to about P10.
Yeah, it seems like the top 4 are together, and then we have 5th to 9th all together as well. Kane Halliburton's just latched onto the back of this pack, and he's just passed Fernando Alfonso for 8th spot. So keep an eye out for Mr. Halliburton to be finding his way through this pack in short order. Brian Lockwood's starting to trail off just a little bit, but he's already had one race's worth of experience here at Charlotte, has our second coach here, and I think he might be well within the rhythm now. Keep an eye on the battle, though, here as we're on board with Ian Witham. You can really get a run on the driver in front if you stick to the inside a little further in those double left-handers, and then try and pick up the slipstream. But for now, looks like Sargent might have the better run here, and if anything, Witham has to watch out for Halliburton at the chicane.
Certainly, as they go into the chicane, we've seen Halliburton be very clean actually, and definitely being able to make some moves. But did you see the absolute huge gap there that Ian Witham managed to pull in on the corner entrance there? But certainly he went in hot, but the exit was not as potent as Halliburton has literally just said, "Thank you very much. I'm going to go for that." Not really putting up much of a fight there from the 16 car of Witham. Certainly, he's not backed fully out of it, but I think a lot of these drivers are just saying, you know what, I'd rather try and follow the coach through and capitalize on that. Certainly, the bonus points, the only person I've seen really go for a fight against the coaching staff is indeed the Beaver Block car of Mike Sargent.
Yeah, well, he's now got Kane Halliburton right behind him, but he'll have to focus his eyes forward as well, because he is clearly getting some good runs on Michael Dowden at the moment as
here we go.
Come together a little more. Yep, here he is up the inside. Kane Halliburton passing for 6th place. Mike Sargent could not defend. Ooh. And might we actually see a potential run back here from Sargent? That is the question. And all the while, all of these drivers are catching up to the top 4. Adrian, Moran, and Larkin, your top 3. They're battling hard, but there's a trade for positions here between Sammy Hendricks and Matt Larkin. I think a bit of a tactical maneuver. Ooh. Sammy Hendricks obviously aggressive, as it's a defense for the lead from Kevin Adrian.
Well, Adrian is definitely putting the elbows out as fully as he can, and I think that may have been a tactical decision there from Team Blue further on. It did not look like it was, a fight for position. It looked like a strategy gain, and right now it is all spicing up the lead. Andrew Moran, who is your championship leader going into this round, is hot on the tail of Kevin Adrian. Adrian, incredibly defensive driver, certainly in the rain, a very, very potent individual, but definitely that chicane did not go to plan, and this is exactly what Moran was looking for. Oh my God, side by side, and going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Moran backs out of it. Thankfully so. Oh, more contact. Oh my gosh, free wide! Oh my gosh, hold on to your knickers, ladies and gentlemen. That was definitely almost a brown flag moment there for the number 17, 11, and indeed the number 12.
Good Lord, the racing here
That was
is
insane.
fantastic. This is incredible. I'm loving every moment of this. Kevin Adrian and Sammy Hendricks, they're going to be fighting very hard here. Andrew Moran has found himself to the front of the field, though, the championship leader coming into this round, and looks like he might be on his way to extending it. Oh, look at how hard they're all pushing here. It is a veritable train of cars here. Everyone in the top 8 separated by nothing to the apron. Oh, are you allowed to do that? I don't know. You're certainly not allowed to send Kevin Adrian into the wall.
Oh, dear. And it looks like there may be more chaos further up. Ian Witham's just going to move around a lot as well. I think that one's definitely going to get reviewed. While I'm all for making a cheeky pass, that was absolutely, yeah, we're going to have a little replay of that and see that from another angle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, first off, down on the apron and then coming back up onto the racing surface. I mean, what do you do if you're Kevin Adrian? You have every right to stay there because you're the one on the racing surface.
Yeah, I would definitely issue a penalty for that one. That was yeah, nothing. Adrian completely not at fault for that, and that's ended his race from like P1, P2. So definitely, I would be a little bit frustrated with that. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for good, clean racing, but a little bit too opportunistic there on the Academy driver's part. But right now, Kane Halliburton only up 2 spots showing overall, but we know that they waited for the back of the grid. Mike Sargent, though, up 8 positions as it stands.
Yeah, it seems like Sargent's managed to get back ahead of Halliburton in the midst of all of that. All of the chaos that erupted over the last couple of laps. And, oh, would you look at that? We are a mere 25 seconds away from the halfway point of this race. I mean, that is... it feels like 20 minutes have already gone by here as Brian Lockwood and Ian Witham see who will be the last of the late breakers into this chicane. Well, it's the racing line for Lockwood, but Witham is going to make it very hard for him, and it looks like this might be another championship point on the cards for him if he can keep him behind. Obviously got to keep it clean. It looks like Lockwood's going to have no choice but to slot in behind here, so Ian Witham, he's going to be well happy with himself if he can keep Lockwood behind for the rest of the lap. But here comes Fernando Afonso. He wants to join the party, and Lockwood gets by at the last couple of turns. No championship point for Ian Witham there.
I gotta admit, you know what? He was putting up a damn good battle, and it's good to see someone else. While I like the coaches, it's good to see someone politely stick it to them and just say, you know what, you're not going to pass purely because you're the coach. I'm going to fight you for everything I've got. And I actually think that's fantastic. Great job by the admin team there to add such an incentive, albeit I imagine it being a little bit cumbersome to try and administer the points on the back end of that. But we do see Fernando Afonso. He's not actually moved through the grid this time as much as I would have thought. Only up 2 positions right now. But you know what? He did well. He got like a fantastic result. P1 in the first race, you know. How hard do you want to fight? Certainly a top 10 is still a good point score, but we're going to head back as Mike Sargent yet again battling with Kane Halliburton.
Here we go, take 2 then. Halliburton has a little bit of damage to his front bumper as well, so he's certainly gotten into the mix at some points while we've been focusing on the rest of the drama from this race. There hasn't been much of a move into the chicane there. I think Halliburton just biding his time here with Mike Sargent, focusing on the exit. That's exactly what you want to do. The corners are simply there to connect the straights together, as Jackie Stewart said in around about the same amount of words. So we'll see if Kane Halliburton puts that into practice here. He has gotten enough of a momentum to try and look up the inside into the last couple corners, but no dice for now.
Well, there you go. That's a good way of getting bonus points. Not only is he up P4, he's up 8 positions overall as well. And then not only that, he's fighting with the coaches. So I've got to say, absolutely fantastic drive there from the Canadian driver. And I do wish that we had an Aussie driver in here just so you had somebody to cheer on there, Reese, because... you know, a little bit underrepresented here.
That's
on
the second time you've said that.
I know. the mouth is moving quicker than the mind, and believe me, I've been told this many times, but certainly that's part of being a commentator, ladies and gentlemen, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to try and get your mouth and your brain on the same page, as it were. And yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't seen too many other Aussies here, as we see a pass, Fernando Afonso finding his way past Ian Witham. Just a good exit coming onto the oval there. But yeah, I think the timing of this league is not ideal for Australians. It's currently 1:20 in the morning for me, and I am on the west coast of Australia. The east coast is another 3 hours ahead, so it's like 4 a.m. for people over in Sydney, as goodness me, Mike Sargent back past Kane Halliburton. What a move.
Well, you know what? He's already had one good fight. Now what? He's got two of them now. It's going to be interesting to see, are the coaches going to work together? Little bit of a nudge there, very little nudge there. Halliburton, it was merely a soft little kiss at that point. As yep, no, these coaches are not working together. Brian looking to have a little bit of a dice there up with his fellow coach.
Yeah, certainly, side by side. It looks like Halliburton's going to get the better exit out of turn one there. They just avoid making contact with each other on the way through. They both want that chance to try and get past Mike Sargent here and up into the top four. Oh man, it's almost, it's awesome seeing these guys fight with each other like they are. Regardless, you know, this race has been full of battles like this, and you always see them follow the same kind of pattern, don't you? It's all about the exit from this corner right here, a little bit tighter to the inside for the coaches. They're able to straighten out the exit a bit more, just dip down into the slipstream. Brian versus Kane versus Mike here, and it looks like, he's just being forced to the outside. Sargent is doing everything right here at the moment to keep these coaches behind, but Halliburton is alongside at the turn-in point. Don't force him into the wall, man. Here we go, 3 wide on the exit. Yes, please.
I've got a feeling this is not going to end well. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful photography shot, but Brian Lockwood, I got a feeling, is going to get the short straw here. We're going to have a quick look at this battle, then check in on the leaders in just a second. Certainly, I got to say, the best defensive driving we've seen so far. Sargent is absolutely bottlenecking these guys. Fernando Alfonso is catching up, and yeah, he's managed to hold them off yet again.
Oh, Lockwood getting into the wall there, coming across the start-finish line. Such an entertaining fight that these guys are having, to say nothing of the battle for the lead. Andrew Moran and Sammy Hendricks, inseparable right now. And Michael Dowden looks like he's going to try and make it a team green sandwich with a blue filling. It doesn't sound particularly edible, but regardless, it is producing some great racing right now.
Oh, absolutely. And certainly, you know what, it's been pretty quiet generally up by the leaders so far. Andrew Moran, you know, we got green, we got blue, we got green again. Certainly in the team's championship, it was looking at only at this split. These guys, Team Green has been an absolute dominant force, but the other splits really, you know, kind of keeping the other teams really in it. We'll have to review the championship points at the beginning of the next race as well, but certainly see how that's mixed up. You know, but thankfully it is spread over 4 splits, and what incredible racing we've seen. Oh my gosh, they are at it still, ladies and gentlemen. Halliburton is currently ahead, but Fernando Afonso has now entered the mix.
Here we go, 4-way fight for 4th, exactly what we want to see, and it's 4 minutes to go. It's all 4 all the time here as we come to the end of the 4th round of the Almeida Racing League. It's all coming up for right now. Easy does it on your way into turn 1. Can Afonso find a way past Lockwood? Certainly he was able to come away with a great result in race 1, but that's a bit of a nudge there into the wall for Mike Sargent. He has to let Lockwood go there. More momentum for the coach on the inside of turn 2. And Afonso, trying to find some grip out there on the concrete, finds none of it, and he has to hang back again.
Well, certainly Afonso's looking to try and capitalize. Mike Sargent, he has been caught by the coaches, as it were, but certainly, you know, Lockwood now, you know, looking to try and pull away, as his co-worker has done. Halliburton is about, let me see here, about, wow, 2.5 seconds up the road already, so you can see that Sargent was very much, you know, the cork in that wine bottle, as it were, and you know what, he's been doing absolutely fantastic, incredible defensive drive. But we're going to go back to the lead, because the lead battle has indeed started to heat up yet again. Andrew Moran on the defense from Sammy Hendricks.
And when they cross the line next, it will be 2 laps to go. So pressure's on here for Andrew Moran. Can he hold off Sammy Hendricks for victory in race 2? Can Michael Dowden surprise us all if these two leaders come together? On the brakes, make sure that you have the grip in the fronts to negotiate those last 2 turns. And it looks like he's on the defensive as Andrew Moran. He knows that Sammy Hendricks is going to try and find a move wherever he can.
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely going to have to try and, you know, get that move done. But also with this stage of the race, you got to wonder, you know, is there a tactical time when to make that pass? Certainly, you know, despite the big straights and stuff like that, they're not quite long enough for the M2 to be able to slingshot past in and make it like a nice clean break. Certainly, you know, you've really got to get right up to the back of that car and just absolutely slingshot it. And even then, you're going to force it too wide through chicane. So certainly, I'm thinking, you know what, if you're going to try and get that P1, you want to be getting on it sooner rather than later, because I don't think there is going to be that chance to make the tactical pass.
Yeah, indeed. The opportunity could come here for Hendricks. Moran a bit offline on the oval, maybe trying to break the draft here. They've got to make their way up to the chicane, though. Hard defense from Andrew Moran, and he's squirreling around in the braking zone, having to force Hendricks into a bit of a backup sort of scenario. And there's the gap again. Hendricks did not nail the exit of the chicane there. So Andrew Moran lives for one more lap here. It's going to be white flag in race 2, and they will complete 14 laps of this race ultimately over the sausage curbs. Don't run too far over them. Don't unsettle the car too much. White flag, 1 lap to go. Who's going to take it?
Well, as we enter this last lap, certainly Andrew Moran, he's leading the championship for a very good reason. Had incredible consistency, generally been able to avoid most of the cabbage. And certainly, you know, he's put in a very good drive. Not just had the pace, but he's had the, you know, and incredible passing opportunities. You know what? It's been a very balanced drive, I feel. But certainly, you know what? He's doing great. He's got a pressure there from Hendricks behind. Teammate Michael Dowden is back in 3rd, but there is another person to factor in. Ladies and gentlemen, Kane Halliburton. I do believe he is going to be out of time. I don't think he's going to get a chance to come into this mix, but certainly I'd be very aware that he's there, as is Brian Lockwood a little bit further back. Sargent now, he's going to be under attack from Fernando Alfonso. I don't think they're going to have enough time to get it all done, get it all sorted, but certainly, you know what, Moran currently leading by about half a second as they're going around the bank section for the final time.
Well, Sammy Hendricks had a red-hot go at it, but Andrew Moran did everything right in the defense. Oh, it looks like, again, the entry to that chicane is where Hendricks is the strongest, but he's just not close enough to get it done. So all Andrew Moran has to do now is nail the entry into these last couple of corners, and he'll be able to come away with an emphatic win in the second race here tonight. No battle for the lead across the line. Hendricks pushing him all the way to the end, but it is Andrew Moran clear by a car length.
Well, an absolutely fantastic race for these guys. We're going to head back. Yep, Fernando Alfonso not quite able to get the better of Mike Sargent. But I got to say, guys, what an incredible race. Like, I absolutely love that. But ladies and gentlemen, your race leader, your race winner even, Mr. Andrew Moran, car number 17, up 6 spots from the grid. And, oh, nicely done, sir. I'll take that action.
Yes. Oh, lovely. Deactivate the traction control and get it done. Leave some sweet-tasting donuts there on the interior concrete. I mean, what a race. Yes, what an event, I would raise you. Both races tonight, full of fantastic action and definitely one of the most entertaining rounds of this league so far.
Oh, absolutely. I think that may have been my favorite. Short of the 5-6 wide entry into Oran Park, I believe where it was at. That was tense. Was it Oran Park? It might have been Lebanon. Certainly, we saw one where they literally 5-6 wide, and we were going like, ah! Oh,
yeah,
my.
for sure, man.
Absolutely incredible. I do believe we've got a couple of cars yet to cross the line, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, here we go. It looks like Ian Witham still showing as on track. There we go. My results just came through, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I was looking for. Looking for a little bit of screen time there from Mr. Witham there, but let's take a quick peek at these, see how it all worked out in the end.
Indeed, Andrew Moran across the line in P1 there, and he made his way up from 7th. Fantastic stuff. 7 spots gained, though, for Sammy Hendricks. I think he's one of the star drivers here tonight. got second place in both races so far. Michael Dowden and Kane Halliburton, your top 4. Brian Lockwood finishing in 5th. Well done there from our second coach. Mike Sargent from outside the top 10, finishing 6th place and putting on perhaps the best defensive drive I've seen in a very long time. Fernando Alfonso, he gets a win and a 7th place from tonight's racing. Aitor Fernandez Blanco was able to reverse his fortunes from race 1 somewhat and grab 8th ahead of David Kent and Ivo Serafimov. Matt Larkin, unfortunately, could not make it into the top 10 there. He started 4th, but had plenty of issues over this race. Ian Witham and Zoltan Zomotor in the midfield, and they stayed there pretty much all night. Kevin Adrian, such a shame that he was taken out due to contact after starting in 2nd for this race. Jan Jančić, he spun on lap 1. Adam Mika suffered huge issues as well. Abdul Rahman Mahmood and Leon Bentvels, some horror nights for a lot of the drivers at the back end of this field. Definitely all of them deserved to be in the top 10, possibly better, but we still have 2 more rounds of this championship to go after this, so there's a lot more potential for some great results.
Oh, absolutely. And it looks like we got a couple of people here waiting in the interview room, so just give us a few moments. I see we've got Andrew Moran hanging around, Michael Dowden as well. Sammy Hendricks, where are you? Certainly, Anthony in the chat would definitely like to, hear you get interviewed. So by all means, somebody please give Sammy a message. That is a big hint. It'd be great to interview the complete podium. Maybe as well, I would kind of like to speak to Kevin Adrian. So I don't know if I've seen him there in an interview before. Not just here, but in other series. But certainly, you know what? I feel he's earned an interview. So if we can get Kevin Adrian to get lined up as well, certainly. So the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, and Kevin Adrian, if you guys watching could give those people a little bit of a hint for us, we would definitely appreciate that. But Reese, talk a little bit about the highlights a second while I gear up the replay.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I'd say the entire event is a highlight, to be completely honest. The racing that we saw in both races tonight was spectacular. 3 wide moment coming into turn 2. In race 2, just all sorts of drama happening in race 1 as well. Yeah, some of the drivers we were expecting to be further up the field did not get the results they wanted for sure, but we still got an excellent show out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I do believe I've managed to get this geared up for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back into the booth. It's Andrew Moran. What an absolutely incredible drive. Certainly, Team Green very much heavy out there in numbers. I can see just at the race start, 4 of you all bunched together, but you still managed to make it up 6 positions. So tell us, Andrew, a little bit about how you prepared for this event.
I didn't, so I was kind of slow. I'm pretty fortunate to get a win in a 4th. I have another race in about 30 minutes, so I've been, I prepared, but just not as much as I have the other week, so it was kind of tough. It was a fun race, though. This track still is deadly, so a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely. And certainly, the sausage curve is actually not catching out too many people, as we're seeing one of your comrades there doing an absolutely incredible power slide. Not quite able to hold it there, but certainly for style points, it gets some award there. I think I remember seeing that earlier on. But you know what? It's been absolutely fantastic for you so far. You're leading the championship going into this event. Tell us, from where we've been sat, it's all been about consistency. But, what do you feel has been, your strength in this championship so far?
A lot of it's my, the community and the team. We practice, typically we practice 5 days a week. It's so it's a lot of preparation. It's made me be pretty consistent, minus this week, which I really don't like this track. So, next week we'll be back at it. But it's a lot of it's my teammates, keeping them pushing me, and then all the coaches at in the Speedway Almeida Academy, able to compare data and see where I'm missing time. So it's a great league and a lot of fun.
Well, certainly, you know what, practicing 5 days a week, and not only that, with the academy as well. That is certainly proof in the pudding. But before we let you go, Andrew, again, congratulations. Is there anybody you'd like to thank at home?
My dog, Duke. He's my emotional support. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, definitely that's something I can relate to. My dog is fast asleep, being a little bit derpy, I might add, with her head hanging off the pillow and a toy in front of her mouth. So, classy lady, my dog, classy lady. But again, congratulations, Andrew, and hopefully we'll see you back in here for Laguna Seca in a week's time.
Yep, thanks guys. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Andrew Moran, your race winner. Now, I do understand that we've been able to catch up with P3. Reese is here with some questions.
Indeed, Michael Dowden, 5th place in race 1, 3rd place in race 2. You certainly had an eventful night. You were amongst the action all the way through.
Yeah, that first race was definitely a lot more eventful than the second one, but second race definitely felt more intense, just trying to stay close to Sammy and Andrew, stay with them to the end.
Yeah, certainly a track that has polarized the drivers. We thought up in the commentary booth it provided some of the best racing of the season. What do you think of it?
I would not have the same opinion. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with the track besides those last 2 chicanes. I just could not figure out how to be consistent, hopping over both curbs and just carrying the speed all the way through. I didn't really have that much time to practice this week. Ended up having my VR headset die, so I had to get another one. So limited practice. I was just trying to survive. I mean, every time I was going through the chicanes, I was just like, all right, don't die, don't die, don't die. I thought I was going to crash pretty much every time I went through them.
Well, regardless, certainly a great result from you. And I think that this track tends to bring out a lot of those lessons that you learned through the Almeida Academy, having to manage the pace, having to manage the tires as well. We heard some hints from drivers that the tires went off very quickly here. So you'll be taking a lot from this round regardless of your results.
Yeah, it was still a great round. We still got Andrew the win, so he's on track still to be the overall champion. And we got some good points for green. We could have done better, but we'll be back next week, and next week's track is going to favor us way better.
Indeed, Laguna Seca for the next round. We hope to see you there, Michael. And well, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to the guys at Team Green. Andrew for helping me get relatively up to speed towards the end of the week there. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent stuff from Michael Dowden here tonight, Zippy. And well, we're going to move our way through again very shortly. It looks like you might have Kevin Adrian up for a chat.
Well, Kevin, it's great to have you in the booth, albeit it was not the result you were looking for. But I gotta say, you know what? You put in a absolutely incredible drive today. Certainly, we saw the incident involving the little bit of a pass there on the apron that didn't quite end in your favor. But I gotta say, race 2, you were absolutely on it. So tell us a little bit about how it was from your perspective when you was fighting for the lead.
Thanks, Zippy. It's tough being in front, knowing all these guys behind you are faster. So I was just trying to get through without making any glaring mistakes. Because really, you just have to get a good run out of the banking and out of the chicanes. And if you do that, there's not too many places to pass. So I was kind of surprised when Sammy was down on the apron, and I thought, oh, you can't be down there. So I thought, well, okay. And all of a sudden, he hit my back bumper, and I was in the wall. So that kind of ended it, which kind of sucks because I was looking forward to practicing my defense. So yeah, kind of disappointing, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Well, certainly, yeah, definitely taking it in a very mature approach. I have to admit myself in a similar situation. The Teddies would have indeed been out of the pram and cleared across several states by that point, but certainly, or even provinces. We are in Canada after all, and well, at least I am. My Australian counterpart, I don't even know what you guys have over there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Kevin, certainly, I was absolutely commending your skills in the rain. Now, is that something that you'd like to see happen here at the Almeida Academy? How do you think the rain would have an effect on the championship racing so far?
Yeah, that would be fun. I've never tried this car in the rain yet, so I don't know how it is, but I always feel that in the rain, it's more of a level playing field and I can compete more towards the front. So it's something I'd look forward to. It doesn't look like it will be this season because we're just following the official schedule where there's no rain involved. So maybe something in the future, that would be nice, definitely.
Well, certainly, having seen you race in the rain, I would definitely be putting my money on the number 11 car. That is Kevin Adrian. But before we let you go, commiserations, obviously, as wow, did you just get some air over that curb in the bus stop? Like, when you watch this back, by all means, check that out. You were full on. Like, it's a good job you had a wing, because I don't think you was coming back down otherwise. But before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to thank?
You guys doing a great job on the production, and everyone in the academy. It's an awesome group of guys to race with. Everyone's very like-minded, and it's a good place to learn. Highly recommend it to anyone that's thinking about it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm definitely going to have to agree with Kevin there. Certainly, you know, I've seen the talent available here in the academy, and honestly, I don't think I could compete. But Kevin, thank you very much for coming in the booth. We're sorry that you didn't quite get the result that you definitely worked so hard for, but perhaps we'll see you have a little bit more success at Laguna Seca.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Kevin Adrian. Now, Reese, I do understand. I think we got one more driver floating around. Sammy Hendricks yet to make an appearance. So we're going to steal this gentleman here, who certainly seems to be rather a fan of getting themselves in the interview booth. Ladies and gentlemen, the sole purple team member in Split 1, at least today, Fernando Afonso.
Indeed, Fernando, excellent race 1 victory for you. You were on it the whole way through there.
Hello, yeah, I think the race 1 was good for me because I started the pole, but the race 2, I get a bad start. I lost a lot of positions at the start, and I was too afraid, I think, of hitting someone, maybe of penalties or something like that, and I got too soft, and I didn't fight for positions that much, so I get a bad position at the end. I think I could have pushed it harder, I think, maybe.
Yeah, indeed. Well, regardless, it's still a double top 10 for you from this round, and definitely a great haul of championship points. Next round being Laguna Seca. What are your thoughts on that place? A bit more of an open circuit than this one, so a bit more of an opportunity to try and make those moves.
Yeah, I like Laguna Seca very much. I use it to race there with the FF 1600. I think it's a car here on the iRacing. I used to race there with this car, and I like that much.
Excellent stuff. Well, Fernando, we really appreciate you coming in for a chat. Congratulations on winning race 1. A fantastic battle there with Sammy Hendricks right at the end. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to for your results tonight?
Oh yeah, thanks to my family that sometimes they are on the chat and they cheer for me, and thanks everyone. The drivers are very nice, the coaches are very nice. Everyone is learning and improving, and I think I'm getting better at each race and getting better.
Excellent stuff. Well, Fernando Afonso with us there, and that is going to end our proceedings for tonight for round 4 of the Almeida Racing League here on Pit Road Productions. Really awesome night of racing, and we're looking forward to more of the same at Laguna Seca next week. Make sure to catch us at the same time, same place next Saturday here on Pit Road Productions. My name's Reese Gardner, Daniel Salmon with me in the commentary box and producing behind the scenes. Everyone, thank you so much for turning up in the chat and lending your support. We'll see you next time.